This is DJ the Prodigy Pen, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hey, this is Cain Velasquez, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chuck Liddell, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, he's Vanderlei the ex-Murder Silver, and you listen Ringside Report Radio.
This is Tito Ortiz, the People's Champ, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Uriah Faber, the California Kid, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
This is Randy, the Natural Couture, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, this is Vitor Belfort, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chael Sonnen, and you are listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Jacques Saint-Pierre, and welcome to Ringside Report Radio.
Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey.
It's the one and only Digo Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know I'm mobbing with the D-R-E.
All right, welcome to the program. It is Ringside Report Radio. I'm Dave Simon. Fred Garcia is here. Anthony D'Alessio is here. Muscles Marco is in the house. Welcome to the program. We're going to try and get to some mixed martial arts here over the next hour, as we do every Friday night here on TSN 690. AJ, Anthony, you're here to derail the whole program. That's your role. That's what you do.
And I do that very naturally.
Yeah. You're just a natural explosion. And
that's a good way to... I like that, Dave.
Yeah.
Continue.
The natural explosion, Anthony D'Alessio.
Sounds like a porn name. But anyways.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Keep going, Dave. Keep going.
No, settle down, natural explosion. All right? I don't want to hear it.
No AJ today.
Yeah, no eruptions tonight, all right? I don't want to hear it from you. Fred is back. Freddie is back.
Hey, Fred.
All right. Great to see you, Fred. Happy to see you. Yeah, Fred, you're back, man. You were catching fish last week. You were on a fishing trip, so you weren't here. Anthony was questioning whether or not you were really on a fishing trip, and Anthony was saying, oh, maybe we shouldn't say too much about Fred. He's going to hear it.
No,
and
his wife is going to hear it.
And I said, no, definitely
Where
not.
are you going with this?
Fred will... Yeah, right? Yeah, because he was questioning whether you were really fishing or maybe up to some other shenanigans. Who knows? But like I told Anthony last week, Fred has 3 passions in life: fishing, jiu-jitsu, and a third one that we can't really talk about on the air right now.
I just advocate for things.
Yeah, that's right. And you can check his Twitter at FreddyMMA to find out a little bit more about Fred's passion. But Fred is back, and of course Fred was really on a fishing trip last week, so we're happy to have you back, Fred, and I see you caught a giant salmon.
Yeah, well, actually I didn't catch it. My buddy did, but it was a 19-pounder, biggest fish we ever caught. Like, biggest fish I ever saw with my own eyes.
19-pounder?
Yeah.
That's big.
Heck, that's huge, actually.
See, I saw a picture of it that you showed me before the show. You should maybe tweet that out at FreddyMMA just to show how big that fish is. It was huge.
Yeah.
19-pound fish.
That's pretty big.
How did it taste, Fred? Was it good? Yeah.
Very good with a 3 pepper sauce. Went in very good with broccoli on the side.
Man, Freddy's recipes now. What are you laughing about broccoli for, Mr. Celery Man?
Eating healthy,
Celery,
man.
exactly. Thank you, Dave.
You should be proud of me.
Yeah, and this chocolate zucchini muffins and celery. What are you making fun of his broccoli for? What's your problem?
Nothing against broccoli. Celery is better. Just check out, like,
how is
what
celery
we tweeted.
Better?
Remember what I said? It's, like, scientifically proven now that if you... So if everyone's listening now, especially the guys, if
everyone's listening, which as soon as Anthony started talking, they stopped.
No, they're actually listening, because the truth of the matter is this. If you eat more celery, apparently you smell much, much better to the women. I don't know why, but apparently it's like some pheromone that comes out of your body because you eat celery.
The natural explosion, Anthony D'Alessio bringing the knowledge.
Muscles Marco knows what
again.
I'm talking about. He's eating a lot of celery lately.
Muscles Marco now has a Twitter. We told him last week on the show to get a Twitter, and he did at Marco Muscles. You couldn't do Muscles Marco? What's going on?
Yeah, we got a little confused there.
Marco, jump on. What is going on?
Well, you know.
No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Marco?
No, I mean,
what happened?
You asked. I created one. Well, actually, AJ created one.
AJ created it, and he barely tweeted. Do you even have the password to the account? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I got the password.
He's all
account.
set up.
Well,
man.
you tweeted
he's got
once,
Twitter.
like...
He's got Instagram. He's got Tinder. He's perfectly set up. Just swipe right.
On Twitter?
Tinder, man.
Tinder.
Yeah, but that doesn't add up for the other ones, you said.
It's all Chinese to me anyway. So.
Yeah, don't worry.
So you need to tweet more often is what I'm telling you, Marco.
Okay.
But good job on getting the Twitter account. You can follow Marco on his brand new Twitter at Marco Muscles. And Freddie has just tweeted out the picture of the fish, which I have just retweeted at Dave Simon MMA, and that is a giant fish, 19-pound fish that Fred was out catching last week. That's why he wasn't on the show, but Anthony was here and Marco was here, and we talked to you about MMA. We talked to you about hockey a little bit as well. We've got UFC Singapore coming up tomorrow morning. You know, UFC Singapore is going to kick off in about 4.5 hours from now.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that? Were you guys
8
aware?
a.m., yeah.
You guys
sure.
aware there's a UFC fight happening like in the morning time, but it's in Singapore, so it's 4:30 a.m. Eastern, the first prelim on UFC Fight Pass, and then the main card is going to start on the Fight Network at 8 a.m. Saturday morning.
We'll be there. We'll be having breakfast.
I'm not going to be there. What are you talking about? I'm going to be asleep.
We're going to be at PJ's.
This show ends
Muscles Marco.
This show ends at 1 a.m. Eastern time.
So
you think?
there you go,
you
straight.
think I'm going to be awake at
Anthony
4 a.m. to watch? I mean, who's even on this card? I'm not going to stay up to watch it. You're going to stay up to watch it? Or you're going to take a little nap? Are you serious?
No, I'm serious. It's at 8 a.m. It's not that bad.
Well, the main card, you're only getting 4 fights if you wake up at 8 a.m. The fight,
true.
the
7
prelim card. No, the prelim card starts at 4:30 in the morning.
So let's just stay up. Let's just stay here. That's it. We'll stay in studio.
No.
To watch Felipe Arantes against Song Yadong, or Shane Young against Rolando Dai.
I like to see
even the main event.
Song Keenan against Hector Aldana.
Even the main event, Donald Cerrone versus Leon Edwards.
Who?
Eddie.
Who's Leon Edwards? AJ?
Leon Edwards.
Little help?
Yeah, he's actually, you know what? It'll be an interesting fight. He's an up-and-comer. There's a lot of trash talking between him and Cowboy. I've never seen Cowboy actually get so upset. He's usually pretty cool.
Really?
And Cowboy,
I haven't seen anything about that.
Well, the thing is that Cowboy really is, like, peed off with this guy, Edwards. He really wants to, like, damage him. I mean, they've had like quite a bit of a rift, which I'm kind of surprised.
What has happened? What have they said?
Edwards is just saying that Cerrone is old and he's like past his prime, and you know he's too old to be fighting. And Cowboy Cerrone he says, yeah, for sure. You just tell your mom that an old man is going to beat your butt like tomorrow morning.
Well, Donald Cerrone's 35 years old and he's been struggling as of late, right? I mean,
well, he struggled, but you know what? It is Cowboy Cerrone, and for sure, like, you can't underestimate this guy. He has like the most fights like out of anyone in the UFC.
Yeah.
But you know what?
He lost 3 in a row, but
3.
he did win his last fight against Yancy Medeiros. But like this fight here, for Donald Cowboy Cerrone, I really don't see it being a big time fight. You look at the past guys that Cerrone has fought. Dating back to, say, 2016, he fought Pat Cote. That was a good fight. He fought Rick Story. He fought Matt Brown. Then he lost to George Masvidal and Robbie Lawler and Darren Till. And then it kind of drops off. He fights Yancy Medeiros because he needs a win. And now he's fighting Leon Edwards, I feel like, because he needs another win. I mean, who's Leon Edwards?
He's a very good wrestler.
I mean, Leon Edwards still has, I think, like, let's count fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, man.
Well, he's
like
15-3,
fights,
right?
9 fights in the UFC. I mean, he's just not been in many marquee matchups.
He's won 5 in a row, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Beating Dominic Waters, Albert Tumanov, Vicente Luque, Brian Barberina, and Peter Sabata. Not household names in the UFC.
Yeah, but Edwards got like one of the fastest knockouts in 8 seconds against Seth Budzinski at UFC Fight Night 64. So he's like second.
In 2015.
Yeah, but he also looks like a decision machine where all his fights go 3 rounds and almost 5 minutes, except the last one went 3 rounds and 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yeah, he won by TKO with 1 second left to go in the fight. I don't know. I'm not compelled enough to wake up at 8 a.m. to watch this fight card. And it's not a big fight card from the UFC. And after this, they're going to take a week break. They're going to be off next weekend. And then the weekend after, it's International Fight Week. 2 weeks from tonight will be the Ultimate Fighter finale on a Friday night, July 6th. And then July 7th is the big one, UFC 226 Stipe against Daniel Cormier in the main event for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Ooh, you know what? I won't watch it live for sure, but
I'll watch it eventually.
Exactly.
I'll watch it on replay. Yeah.
I'll find a way to watch it because look, Donald Cerrone's a warrior for many years. I look at his record right now. The guy's been fighting, in 2017 fought 3 times, in 2016 4 times, in 2015 4 times. I mean, the guy fights, We're always complaining about people not showing up, not fighting enough. Well, this guy shows up and he always delivers. Unfortunately, lost 3 of his last 4 fights, but he's a gamer. I'm always going to support Donald Cerrone.
Yeah, for sure. It's a Donald Cerrone fight. I'm going to tune in, but I'm not going to need to see it live. I'll check it out. Unless, I'll wake up, I find out the result.
Unless there's some type of alarm that rings, all of a sudden during a live show.
Yeah, what was that? Who did that?
Somebody that's not
AJ?
good at radio.
That's not me this time. I'm telling you.
Was that Marco? Marco.
Muscles.
Marco's phone was on during the show. Man, that's unbelievable. Your mic's off now, Marco. You're done.
We need a fine bucket.
Yeah, we're gonna start fining you, Marco, for doing that kind of stuff.
He's a white belt.
Your phone cannot go off during the show. Unbelievable. Muscles Marco. Apologize.
Sorry.
There you go. There he is.
Give the guy a break. He just got his Twitter account.
So Anthony, you're going to wake up for 8 a.m. to see the main card. The co-main event of this Donald Cerrone Leon Edwards fight is. Do you even know? I know, but do you know? No. Don't look in your notes. See, he doesn't know. Fred, do you know? Just offhand.
OSP, man.
No,
for sure
know.
you do.
Yeah. You know now, Anthony, because you just looked it up. It's Ovince St. Preux against Tyson Pedro. That's the co-main event.
One thing with
and that's
Tyson
a good
Pedro,
fight.
that's going to be a great fight. But you know what? I was kind of surprised, Dave, at the weigh-ins, how big he is, Tyson. Compared to
I think he used to fight at heavyweight. He's a big dude.
Wow, he's a big dude and a very confident dude too, as well. I can tell you. I mean, he was dancing. He was in the groove, and I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick on this fight, based on what I've seen and seeing OSP, I mean, I like OSP and all, but Tyson is something to watch. I mean, I'd be excited. I'd be excited to watch this fight.
26 years old, 7-1 as a pro. He's won 3 in the UFC. He's inexperienced. I don't know. I'd be inclined to go with OSP in that fight.
They both lost to Latifi. Other than that, it's hard to gauge.
I think OSP has just fought better fighters in general. He's had more experience against high-level talent.
Tell you what, Tyson Pedro's a cool name, though. I might have just to go with the name.
And listen, all of his
Fred making picks off just straight up names now. That's how we
tattoos.
Are. That's how we are.
He's got amazing tattoos.
That's where we are in the UFC right now. Okay. There are so many fights, there are so many fighters on the roster that they have these cards with a main event and co-main event, and you're like, who are these guys? I remember when you would watch a UFC pay-per-view and you would know every single fighter on that thing for the first prelim to the main event. And now we have these UFC cards at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning in Singapore where you don't really know anybody.
Yeah, but in Singapore,
except Donald Cerrone.
I mean, it's going to be packed there. They love the UFC.
How do you know?
They love How do you know? Because I listened to the interview with Cerrone talking about the fan base in Singapore and how they come out really supporting him. He's never fought in Singapore. This will be his first.
So what does he know?
He knows because he's been fighting in Japan the beginning of his career.
You just said. He's never fought in Singapore before.
No, but he's never fought in Singapore.
But he knows that the fan support is going to be huge.
Well,
how does he know if he's never fought there before?
Dave.
AJ. Fred?
Dave.
Fred?
I'm
not sure what to say.
Come on, Fred.
I'm going to say this. Singapore... They're happy because they get a UFC once every year. So, yeah, they probably get
once a year. Isn't this the first one here ever?
No, I think they've been there before.
No, they've been there before.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm going to tell you one thing. Let me backtrack here just to back to the days of GSP when he used to go to Singapore. This is when GSP used to go to Singapore, the fans... They would come out and he would be treated as presidential treatment.
When was this?
George used to say it. When he goes to Singapore, they love him so much that it's like a presidential motorcade for this guy. he's like so loved. The Japanese president,
Fred
his
right now,
favorite fighter was GSP. I mean,
Fred right
in
now,
Asia, they love the UFC. They love the fighters.
Right now, working feverishly
Come on,
to
Fred.
fact check you.
Look at those fingers go, man.
Because we are both smelling the BS coming from AJ right now.
What? I can't believe you said that. That's not.
I don't buy any of your stories.
Singapore
Fred,
is huge in
anything?
MMA.
I'm not finding. I googled Singapore and GSP and
nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Well, good. You know what? If George is listening, George,
Yeah, but
call
this
in. What's
is
the
not
number,
about
Dave?
George. It's like
the number
about...
is 514-790-1690, 514-790-1690, and that goes for anybody, not just GSP, but if you want to give us a call, you can at all times and talk MMA with us. If you want to talk pro wrestling with me, I'll entertain that as well, because, of course, Wrestling Uncensored tomorrow night here on TSN 690. But, you know, Fred's a wrestling fan. AJ's a wannabe wrestling fan.
What?
So we can do
I
that,
did like
too.
4 hours of wrestling this week.
514-790-1690. That's not the wrestling I'm talking about, and you know
wrestling.
it, AJ. Talking about professional wrestling, not amateur wrestling. Two different things. And I don't think we could really talk amateur wrestling. Like, how many amateur wrestlers do you know on, like, the big circuit? Like,
James Mancini?
No, I'm talking about, like, the worldwide amateur, like the Jordan Burroughs.
Kurt Angle.
You know who Jordan Burroughs is, right?
Yeah, okay.
You know who he is? Do you, though?
Burroughs.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, Burroughs.
Who is he?
You don't know. Like, we can't get a straight answer. We don't know if he knows him or not. He just repeats.
So tell me, Dave.
You don't know who Jordan Burroughs is?
Hey, man, I'm doing the same thing that, like, Trump and all the rest do. They just, like, answer... They
So
just keep answering.
what I'm telling you is we couldn't actually talk amateur wrestling because you don't know who Jordan Burroughs is, a multi-time...
But he could fake it.
He's a multi-time gold medalist, and he's one of the best wrestlers in the United States right now.
Like CM Punk. I get it.
No. Amateur wrestlers, Anthony. Gold medalist in the Olympics. You're confused, eh? I'm surprised you don't know who Jordan Burroughs is. He's a big star in amateur wrestling. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of stars in amateur wrestling, but Jordan Burroughs is a name. Kyle Dake, you've never heard that name before?
I was going to say something else, but I'll hold my breath on that one.
I think he won the national tournament 4 years in a row. Think about that. As a freshman...
You sure about that?
Yeah, I think... Yeah, he won it like 4 times.
I think he would have got...
Fact check me. Kyle Dake.
Let's do
Dake. Check him out. Dake. D-A-K-E.
Like Drake? Like your friend Drake?
Yeah, Drake without the R. Okay?
Kyle Drake.
Kyle Dake.
Oh, Dake.
D.
He is one of the most highly decorated
I know who
amateur
this guy
wrestlers going right now.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know who he is.
that's what I'm talking about. You guys don't know your amateur wrestling like I do, okay? You guys need to follow the game.
You know what? You are like a walking encyclopedia.
You're surprised that I know?
Yeah.
I'm right? He won it 4 times?
Yeah.
But you don't know Singapore and GSP and the motorcade and
Because
all the rest.
that's made up.
No, it's not,
I
man.
know facts.
Yes.
I don't know made up stuff.
Fake news.
Nah,
Yeah.
I hope George is listening. George, I don't care if you're driving, wherever you are, like in Quebec, Trois-Rivières, wherever. If you're listening, call in and tell Dave that he's wrong.
I hope David Zilberman is listening and he's hearing all this
David too, it's true.
all this amateur wrestling knowledge that I'm dropping. Big shout out to you, David Zilberman.
Best
One of the
wrestling coach
one
in
of the
Canada.
best wrestlers in the country.
Yeah, hands down.
Still.
He's a beast.
Yes, he is.
He is.
He used to beat me up when I was like 14.
Really?
Not like for real in wrestling practice. You know? He would take me down, like takedown practice for him a little bit. He would just kind of lift me up and throw me down, and then I'd have to get up and just repeat the process over and over again.
So why don't you stay with him? You could have been a champ now.
Yeah, I could have been, but I was lazy.
You could have been a contender, Dave. You could have been a contender.
No, I don't think so.
We would have made a movie about it.
No, I don't think I had the talent or athletic ability or the drive to do any of those things. That's why I'm here with you.
And talking about it. At least we're talking about them now.
That's right. Who are we talking about? You don't even
David
know.
Zilberman.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem with amateur wrestling. As far as you go, you could win gold medals in the Olympics, multi-gold medals. You could be an NC2A Division I national champion 4 years in a row, and guys that are supposedly into wrestling and martial arts, they still don't know your name.
Unless you have the intensity, the integrity, and the intelligence.
You mean unless you go into professional wrestling. That's how you get a name, or you go into MMA and make a name there. But unfortunately, amateur wrestling, it's very hard to make a name for yourself. Guys that follow it, that are really into it, like ex-wrestlers and stuff, I mean, there's a whole community that's into it, but it's
look,
it's not mainstream.
The jiu-jitsu it's a little bit the same thing for the jiu-jitsu community. I mean, look, we know the champions because we follow a little bit like the different competitions.
But even then, we don't know all the champions.
Exactly. We don't really know how deep the fields are and all that.
Yeah.
So it's a little similar. I'm not going to blame anybody. You know, you got an amount of time you could spend on sports. Most people will prefer MMA.
And we can't even keep track of the guys in the UFC. There's so many UFC fights. There's so many UFC fighters.
How many are there? I think there's a roster of about 600 on the UFC.
It's huge.
It's incredible.
I know Ji Young Kim and Melinda Fabian are fighting tomorrow.
You don't know who they are.
I mean,
have you ever heard of Matt Schnell or Naoki Inoue?
I mean, Ulka Sasaki's fighting.
Okay, I've heard of him. I know him.
Jake Matthews from Australia.
Yeah. Yan Zhaonan against Viviane Pereira.
I mean, Song Keenan sounds like sort of, Asian, but Keenan sounds American. I'm a little, I want to see this guy.
I like Song Yadong.
Yadong.
That's somebody's name on the card tomorrow. Song Yadong.
I love it. Sponsored by Viagra.
Anthony D'Alessio, the natural explosion. Big fan of Song Yadong.
I like that guy, actually.
Yeah, I know you do. So the UFC is going to be in Singapore early tomorrow morning, and we're all very excited about it. AJ's super excited. So excited that he's going to wake up early.
Or maybe not go to sleep at all. I'll stay up with Muscles Marco.
I don't think 4. AJ
What are you guys
going
to do?
Well, just hang around,
Liking your own tweets?
We could go to our friend in Verdun, have a couple of hot dogs. That knows Dave Simon very well.
Don't you notice he tweets us sometimes at 8 in the morning the next day because I wake up pretty early always, so I'll be up tomorrow probably at 9. But yeah. I'll be relaxing, drinking a coffee and doing whatever else. But
I wake up to like 30 plus notifications on a Saturday morning, and half of them are AJ tweeting
at 8 a.m.
and then liking his own tweet and tagging me in on it and retweeting. Half of it is just AJ nonsense Saturday morning. But I'm telling you, my notifications, it's like I can't keep up anymore. It's gone too far.
There's too many fans. It's ridiculous.
It has got to a point where it's like, man, every time I turn on Twitter, it's like another 20 notifications, and I can't keep up with everybody. I was really trying for a while for every single tweet that I got. I would try to respond in some type of way. I can't do that anymore. There's too many.
I know what exactly you need. You need a Twitter assistant. So what we got to do is put out an employment ad saying Dave Simon
needs...
I'm
not paying anybody
internship.
Internship. I'm not paying anybody to run my Twitter. And also, I'm not letting anybody take control of my Twitter and tweet something for me, because it'll be somebody like you, AJ, and I'll get into trouble because you're full of nonsense.
What? I
The
can't
natural
believe it.
explosion, Anthony D'Alessio. It's Ringside Report Radio. Lyoto Machida is moving to Bellator. Bellator is getting bigger and bigger. There's a big fight coming up in Bellator, and we're going to get to that. Rory McDonald and Gegard Mousasi. And AJ, I already hear you saying, who said Bellator is going to be good? I said it. I'm AJ. So AJ is going to take credit for things that Bellator is doing, and we're going to try and settle that down. Also, some Nate Diaz news. Some big news in the world of Nate Diaz that we'll get to when we come back here live on TSN 690.
Hey, this is Cain Velasquez, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio. Hi, this is Saunders Epid Borolowski, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Tyron Woodley, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
Welcome back. It is Ringside Report Radio. I'm Dave Simon. Fred Garcia and Anthony D'Alessio are here. We have a poll on Twitter. Is the gator real?
Or is he just a fugazi?
Is he just a fugazi gator? Fugator.
Fugator.
So there's this video that Max Holloway tweeted out. Max Holloway, UFC featherweight champion, the blessed era. He tweeted out a guy saving his friend from a gator attack by giving it an elbow drop. And if you follow me on Snapchat, at Dave Simon MMA, which you can do that too, at Dave Simon MMA on Snapchat, on Twitter, and it's coming soon on Instagram, so get ready for that, okay? I'm getting an Instagram, Anthony. You've been pressuring me to do that, so it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, okay? I got it. It's all set up. I'm just just got to press play, and then we'll be on Instagram. Okay.
All right.
So there's a video of a guy elbow dropping a gator. You can see it right now. You can see everything on my Twitter feed at Dave Simon MMA. Go there, check out my Twitter feed, check out the video of the gator, and then check out Anthony's poll, is the gator real or not? And Anthony actually didn't take that long to put out the poll, so good on you, AJ. Now, it makes no sense because the guy, he's hitting an elbow drop on a gator to save his friend from being eaten, but isn't he in fear that he's going to be eaten by throwing that elbow on the gator? Why would you jump in and attack a gator?
Because it's bros before gators. Come
What?
on, Dave. Bros before gators.
So if I was being attacked by a gator, okay?
Yeah.
If not attacked,
That'd be funny, actually. I'd like to see that.
Not attacked. Yeah, I know you would. Okay, not actually attacked by a gator, but like say a gator was approaching me, and you saw it coming, and you were in that position. Would you elbow drop the gator to save me?
For Dave,
you just said bros before gators, so are you elbow dropping the gator to save me?
Hands down. Remember we were talking about that like weeks back? We were talking about like if a boat fell and I would have to save
Mackenzie Dern or Luke
Rockhold, that whole story. And I said I would save Fred. Fred, you weren't here actually for that. Fred wasn't here that time when I said I would save you. It was between Mackenzie Dern,
Luke Rockhold, and Fred.
Or Fred. And guess who I chose?
He said he would save you, Fred, over Mackenzie Dern.
I'm telling you, man, it was a really there was a tear out of Dave's eye, I think, at that point.
Yeah, it was really emotional.
It was a special moment,
man. Very special.
So back to what you're saying now.
See, Fred, you see what happens when you're not on the show? You miss so much. And we were talking about it last week. You said, oh, Fred's going to hear all this stuff. And I said, no, there's no way Fred's going to hear it. Fred doesn't listen to the show when he's not here.
I was planning on listening. And
Were you?
Yes, seriously. And then like 10:30 hit, and I fell asleep.
That's what happens when you're in the country. It's true. I agree.
You're still able to listen to the show at ringsidereport.net or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, with the .net spelled out, DOTNET. We've got it all there. It's on YouTube. We did a UFC 225 post show. Mm-hmm. Fred, did you watch that? We talked about you. We had little Kevin Owens, who was playing the role of Fred. We had Mini Fred on the UFC 225 post show.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that.
Nope, sorry.
No. Jesus. What's up, man?
Fred is not supporting the brand.
I'm sorry.
When Fred's not on the show, he does not care. When AJ's not on the show, do you remember, Fred, before we allowed AJ into the studio with us? When we would do the show, I would always get texts from Anthony D'Alessio saying this or saying that. He would always be listening.
And listen, there were
you would always listen to the show, even when you weren't on it.
What does it say there?
I don't know what.
Marco wants me to pay a fine.
Why? What happened?
Because I'm not listening to the show.
No, that. No, but there were times. You're right. Actually,
AJ doesn't listen to the show when he's in the room, so it's okay. Fred.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. There are times when I'm
out to lunch.
Yeah. So, but listen, I used to text you guys.
Yeah.
When I was driving on the highway, I would pull over the side of the highway. Just so I can text you, because I used to get so upset sometimes. I'd be like, "That Dave, man, that's it. I'm pulling off the highway, 4-lane highway, off to the right shoulder. Text Dave, you're wrong, and that's it." You remember those days?
You wouldn't always say I was wrong.
No, I probably 90% of the time I would say that, but that's why it's nice to agree to disagree at times, right?
Sure. I guess it's nice now that you're on the show, so you don't have to pull over on the side of the highway.
Or get a ticket when you're biking.
Risk death. Yes, you did also get a ticket recently. Well,
I didn't.
You almost got a ticket, but you were pulled over because you were on your bicycle watching Johnny North and myself do the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show on YouTube live.
Right.
And you were so distracted by that you were pulled over. Did you not hear about that, Fred?
No, Fred was fishing.
No, see, that was last week. Yeah, it happened last week.
It was a good one, Fred.
Last week, Johnny North and I were doing the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show as we do every Friday around noon on youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. And Anthony was watching while biking on a bicycle, and he was watching this on his phone on YouTube, and a cop pulled him over and told him he wasn't allowed to do that. Then he was not only biking and watching, but he was also chatting in the YouTube chat, and he said, "Oh, guys, I'll be back. I just got pulled over. Well, what the hell? You can't watch YouTube and bike at the same time."
Yeah. Apparently,
Did he give you a ticket?
No, he didn't. But
he should have.
He should have, and he should have locked you up and thrown away the key like you were going to do to Nick Diaz a few weeks ago, Anthony.
I remember when I gave a cell phone to my kid, and I told him, if I ever catch you doing that, I'm taking that cell phone away. And also, even worse, I would see some of his friends on a skateboard doing some skateboard and going on the phone. I'd be like, if I ever see you do that, no more phone.
Yeah.
Phone gets cut off.
That's right. Anthony, where's your mother to take away your phone?
Yeah, she heard.
Is she listening right now?
Yeah, she did. She heard last week. But anyways,
is she listening to the show right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Does she listen every week?
She listens all the time.
Why don't we say
hello
hello
to
to
her?
her?
She's a big MMA fan.
No,
but listen.
What's her name?
My mom?
Mrs. DeLesio. Let's just, can we say it?
You can
Mrs.
say
DeLesio?
Yeah.
Does she go by
Mrs. D?
Did she take, like she doesn't go by her maiden name, she goes by her married name? Is that what you're saying? So, Mrs. DeLesio, please take Anthony's cell phone away for 2 weeks. He's not responsible enough to have a cell phone. He's going to get hurt.
No, but
he is wearing a crazy bike helmet, which we also discovered on the show last week, Fred. See, this is why you need to listen to the show, Fred, because you miss 1 week, you miss a lot. Last week on the show, Anthony revealed that he wears a bike helmet with a full visor in front of his face.
You thought I was joking, right?
No, I believed you, but then I saw the bike helmet, which you need to post on Twitter at Danny Brook. I don't know why you didn't post that. You know what? Muscles Marco should post it on his Twitter. That way you get his followers up. He takes a picture of you at Danny Brook with the stupid helmet on your face.
And the full Adidas tracksuit.
And then we all retweet it and whatever. The Adidas tracksuit I have no problem with. The fact that it's skin tight bothers me a bit. But
is it for mosquitoes? What is it for?
No, man. It's just the suit.
No, the helmet.
The helmet?
With the visor.
With the visor, I'd say, yeah.
Who bicycles with a visor?
I'll tell you what, there's
man.
a lot
of
mosquitoes and all that. It could be annoying.
But anyways, if you listen to the...
Have you ever seen anybody do that? Have you ever?
No, but now that I hear about it, I would consider it. Like,
there you go. I'm starting a trend.
No.
Now gives me reason to take a picture.
I understand, Anthony. You see, you don't understand. Like, he's a complex man, but
thank you.
He's smart.
Complex. I like
There's
that.
a reason to his actions.
I wouldn't say complex.
I was going to say, I'm trying to think of, like, it's sort of like the Snickers bar. You don't know everything that's in there. It's complex. It's sweet.
You know what's in there. There's caramel.
Almonds.
There's
which one
almonds. No. There's peanuts in a
it's
Snickers
caramel.
bar.
That's it. I made a mistake.
No,
it's not Snickers. It's
Google
the caramel.
Bet.
How much?
Snickers bar.
Oh, is that how it goes?
Canadian Snickers, not American Snickers. Canadian Snickers.
What the heck is the difference?
Well, that might be different because I'm basing that on the commercials.
I don't think it's almond. It's peanuts. In a Snickers bar, it's peanuts. I'm telling you, I like Snickers bars.
This show has gone nuts. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that.
That was a terrible pun, AJ.
I know.
Awful.
I was trying to think of something good, but it didn't come out.
I'm booing you.
Yeah, okay, it's
that
all
was
right.
bad.
We need. You know what? You gotta. I keep saying this to Dave, but most people probably, the younger generation, won't know him. But Ted Teven, Dave Simon, is a protege of Ted Teven, which used to be a very famous sportscaster here in Montreal.
Gave me my start in radio back in 2004.
He was the best like sports.
I worked with him many nights. He was the man.
He was the best. Ted Teven,
the greatest.
Love him. He said, Muscles Marco, you used to listen to.
He would say he was the greatest. He'd say, "I'm the greatest, Simon. I'm the greatest." And I'd say, "I know, Ted. I know."
And he was.
He was.
Yeah. So going to that, what I'm trying to say is,
and you know what?
What?
You know what I'm doing right now? It's funny you mentioned Ted Teven because what I'm doing right now, we're doing the show, but I'm standing up to do the show because you enraged me so much that I have to stand up to really look at you and face you and intimidate you here. But Ted used to do every show standing up the entire time. And he would go for 2-3 hours. Every show he did standing up. A lot of guys sit down in front of the mic. He would do it standing. And I'm doing it standing tonight. Not in any kind of tribute to him, just because I like it. But I see why he liked it now, and maybe this is how we do it from now on.
I like it. But what you got to do is...
That's a little inside Ringside Report Radio.
Facts.
You know, people listening at home, they have no idea that I'm...
This is a very smart show, actually.
That I'm standing or sitting.
Like,
it doesn't really matter to you, but it matters to me. Okay?
No, it matters to me, too.
This is a smart show. You're on it. How is it a smart show? It's just basically nonsense. We were talking about if a gator was real or not.
Oh, yeah. Back to the gator. How do we get off topic here?
Why is the gator the topic? I think that's the problem. You say it's a smart show, and then the main topic is a real or fake gator on a Twitter video where a guy's elbow dropping a gator.
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome, and I think it's real. Because, like I was saying, yeah, I believe it's real because you get a lot of these jiu-jitsu guys in Brazil, like Cyborg and all the rest, that actually grapple gators as part of their grappling training. So I believe it.
Okay, I listen to this Miami show sometimes, and this week they were talking about this lady that got killed by a gator because the gator attacked the dog. So I don't know. I wouldn't grapple a gator.
Yeah, but not everybody can grapple a gator.
I don't think anybody should.
Only black belts,
Only
right?
black belt. Yeah, jiu-jitsu
What
guys,
are you talking
Muscles,
about?
Michael.
Yeah. Where are we going here?
Yeah, I don't
Gator grappling?
know. Gator grappling. I think it actually exists.
You want to see Lyoto Machida in Bellator? It looks like he's going there.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Makes sense,
It
right?
makes sense.
It seems like the kind of retirement league for a lot of these veteran fighters, these legend fighters that want to keep fighting, but they can't compete at the top level of the sport anymore. So they leave the UFC, they go over to Bellator. Here's Machida. Apparently Vanderlei and I think
Rampage, yeah.
Rampage.
Number 4.
They're going to fight each other again in Bellator. Chael Sonnen and Fedor are supposed to fight in the semifinals of a heavyweight championship tournament soon. I don't know when that fight's going to be, though. They still haven't announced it. And then the other semifinal is not as ridiculous. Matt Mitrione and Ryan Bader. That's kind of more of a legitimate fight there. But, you know, Machida going to Bellator.
I think it's
Fedor's
great.
in Bellator. Vanderlei and Rampage fighting in Bellator.
September
Why
29th.
not? September what?
September 29th, that fight's taking place.
What is?
Vanderlei against Quinton.
Yeah, but how come we don't know when Fedor's fighting?
That's,
When they started this tournament, they said, this tournament will be a year long. It'll start in January. It'll end in December. By the end of 2018, we'll have a heavyweight champion. But Fedor and Chael still haven't fought. And the winner of that, you would think, would have to fight again in 2018. We're almost halfway done 2018. You need a break between fights. So if Chael's not fighting Fedor in July, and right, because it hasn't been announced, and maybe he's not fighting him in August, September's too late for this tournament to actually end in 2018. Because if Chael and Fedor fight in September, you guys really believe they're going to turn around and fight in December?
No, I doubt it.
I'm calling BS on Bellator finishing this tournament in
When is the Bader
2018. Don't know. That hasn't been announced either.
None of the yeah. But you remember that, what was it, Strikeforce, the Grand Prix? That one also extended over some time because they couldn't get fights done.
Well, a lot of their fighters dropped out. Alistair Overeem was in that tournament, and he wound up going to the UFC right in the middle.
Yeah, it's true. And Daniel Cormier came in.
Daniel Cormier
as a
came
reserve.
as a reserve. He didn't even win a fight, and I think he wound up in the finals of the tournament, and he won the tournament by having one fight, I think against Josh Barnett in the finals. Speaking of Josh Barnett, he's been released by the UFC.
Yep.
A Bellator run makes sense for him. Remember when he was supposed to fight Fedor for affliction all those years back, and then it didn't happen because he tested positive for some sort of drug, and they had to cancel the fight, and then affliction as a promotion just kind of blew up? I still want to see Fedor fight Josh Barnett.
Look, I think Bellator.
I'm not satisfied from all those years back. Like, I'd still like to see Randy fight Fedor, Randy Couture.
I'll tell you what, I think Bellator overall, they're doing a good job picking up these veterans that a lot of people want to see. I want to see Fedor. I want to see Josh Barnett. Barnett is not under contract right now, but I hope he gets under contract with Bellator. I want to see Chael. I want to see Rampage. I want to see Vanderlei. I'm not done watching these guys fight. These guys were there like when I started loving this sport, so I'm still going to support them.
And in a day where we watch the UFC and they have cards and you're like, who's this guy? Who's that guy?
Yep.
I don't really care. I'd rather watch the guys that I'm familiar with, that I care about, that are actually stars in the sport. I'd rather watch those guys than watch the best fighters in the world in some instances. You know, like some guys in the top 10 of these divisions are just not that compelling. You know, they may be good at fighting, but they may not be that exciting. They may not, you know, have the star power. They might not have that flair. Their fights might be a little boring.
Well, I mean,
But at least in Bellator, you're getting these names, and it's like, yeah, well, you know, Fedor, it might be a guy who's way past his prime, but his fight with Frank Mir wasn't boring. It was real short.
Yeah, but you got really legit guys too.
But it's
Like you have
Fedor.
Musasi, you've got Rory McDonald, you've got like
Yes.
big names in Bellator. And like not to toot my own horn, but I did say it in Bellator 200.
No,
But go ahead.
Remember what I
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
I did say it.
Not
I
to
said
toot my own horn, but let me put myself over for the next 20 minutes.
no, but I did say that this was the beginning of a rebirth for Bellator. I saw great things. I saw their just the whole showcase that they did. It was awesome. The only thing that they lacked was maybe the weigh-ins, but who cares? It's the show that counts. And they really pulled out all punches, and they're really taking aspects of Pride, and they're taking aspects of the UFC, and they're putting it together, and they're creating this Bellator package that's actually pretty entertaining. And to be honest, like everything that went on, like like the fights that went on 200. I mean, we had like really good like submissions. We had really good TKOs.
You
We
were
had,
a
like,
little too excited about that.
I was,
though.
but that was
Yeah.
just the beginning. And here we are talking
Yeah,
about.
it was
look,
all right.
Machida's going there. Barnett is definitely going to go
Machida
there.
is already there. He's the middleweight champion. Rory McDonald is the welterweight champion. Those two guys are supremely legit. I believe that if you put Gegard Mousasi or Rory McDonald against the champions in the UFC in their weight divisions, Rory has already beat Tyron Woodley. Okay? I think if Rory's in the UFC, he fights Tyron Woodley, he's a world champion. I think if Gegard Mousasi's in the UFC, he fights Robert Whittaker, he's got a really good shot at beating Robert Whittaker. So, you know, okay, like, you guys are, Fred's looking at me like, I don't know about this.
No, but it'll be a
you
good
don't
fight.
know. It'd be a good fight, and
Yeah.
you can't tell me that Gegard couldn't beat Robert Whittaker. Gegard is still an elite fighter in the middleweight division, and Rory McDonald, we know, can beat Tyron Woodley. He's done it before.
No,
So
yeah.
maybe the Rory thing a little bit more than the Gegard thing. I'll give that to you. But you can't say that Gegard wouldn't be competitive as one of the top middleweights in the world. He's still one of the top 5. If not that, you got to give him top 10.
Of course, he would be competitive. I'm smiling because I know you love Gegard.
He's the man.
And like you're ready to put him right away on a pedestal, just like you.
Number one middleweight in the world, Gegard Mousasi.
I mean, when you love somebody, you give them the first round, even when they don't do nothing. Like Phillip Brooks the other
Whoa,
day.
no, I disagree on that. I disagree on
Get
that.
him, AJ.
I know.
30-26.
Okay.
That's what the judges said, but AJ and I said, no.
No, the
Phil
first
Brooks
round.
won the first round. How dare you? CM Punk.
He gave it
it's
his all, man.
clobbering time.
Yeah. No, he
Best
did well.
in the world.
Getting out pummeled by a boxer.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
well,
Come on, AJ.
Look, no,
come on,
no,
AJ.
Okay,
Listen.
it wasn't a good performance, Fred. All right, settle down.
Yeah. It
Get
wasn't
me
great.
all amped up here about CM Punk. Let's not talk about CM Punk right now.
No.
Don't make me bring up Daniel Bryan
I wasn't
again.
there last week, so I needed to get my, CM Punk out of me.
You need to rub it in a little bit.
No,
Didn't
but-
you think he was going to win, though? Didn't you predict him? No.
I'm sure you were
No.
cheering for him.
No.
Deep down inside.
No, Fred doesn't like CM Punk. He's a hater. Fred's a Miz fan, you know? You can't.
Because he's a wrestler, so I'm just playing heel. I'm having fun with this.
But Fred, can you agree one thing?
This is fun to
But
me.
it was exciting in a sense, right?
Fred's not serious. Fred's just messing around.
I know.
It was exciting, yeah.
It was
fun.
exciting. It was an exciting fight because the rest of the cards seemed to sleep a little there till the last fight.
Oh,
right?
man.
We were talking
what
about
do you mean
that.
the rest of the cards seem to sleep a little? I seem to sleep a little during the rest of that card.
Yeah.
Did you
were-
not notice?
No, I noticed. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Believe me.
I was snoring.
Snoring away, man.
I was like,
It's bad.
Some of these are hard to watch, honestly.
Yeah, man.
They finish late.
These fights that go on till past midnight, 2 in the morning. I can't handle
I
that
think
stuff.
it was Mickey Gall himself that
Listen,
said
we
it went
have
15 minutes too long.
We have young children at home, Anthony. We don't have the energy to stay up till 1 or 2 in the
I
morning
thought you were
East
gonna
Coast
say the
time.
luxury. It's okay. I
Well, we
understand.
can't do that either, okay? We both have young children. By the way, big shout out to my son Zev, turning 1 on Sunday, the 24th. His first birthday. Yeah, clap it
Happy
up for
birthday.
Zev.
I got a
For
present
Zevster.
for him.
Woo! Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
See, gifts.
It's in the car.
Johnny North got him a present as well. He got him a nice France soccer ball for the World Cup. Zev loved it, too. He was really into it. So Fred got him a present. Johnny got him a present. AJ,
I got to get him a present.
You're slipping.
No, but last week, but
I'm
remember,
kidding.
I brought you guys presents, but Fred wasn't there.
Yes, that's true. You
Yes.
did bring us presents.
I did, Fred. I'll have
He
to-
brought us cigars, Fred, and you know what we can do with those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not smoking them.
Joe Rogan.
I don't know. Muscles Marco's over there. He's like mumbling something to me, but I can't tell what he's saying. Turn on your microphone. I'll turn it on. What do you want? What?
Well, you brought us chocolate last week. Where is it?
You did bring us chocolate, and you said, okay, I'm going to bring it back next week when Fred's here. You had this whole big box of Ferrero Rocher, and you didn't bring them this week? Those were our Father's Day gifts, Anthony. What happened?
They're gone.
I got good news and I got bad news.
they were good. That's the good news.
I got good news. The good news is this. They were really good.
Okay. We have Headstrong Bacon on Twitter says the Bellator Heavyweight Grand Prix seriously losing steam with the scheduling delays. Chael and Fedor are rumored to be on an East Coast card, but no news, no date. What the heck?
He's right.
He is right. And you know what? He's also right when he says Dave Simon MMA is the boss, Freddie MMA is the cool presence, and Danny Brooke is the wild card. Perfect radio combo. Ringside Report Radio.
Headstrong Bacon.
Thanks for that, Headstrong Bacon, out on Twitter.
Where's he from? I remember you mentioned that he's not from Canada. He's from the States or something.
He's not? I don't know. I thought he was in Montreal, that guy.
I gotta find out.
John Headstrom, where are you from, man? Are you in Montreal? Are you in...
Canadian or American bacon?
His Twitter profile says he's a proud Canadian. So.
It does it? Okay.
I love bacon, period. So.
Yeah, who doesn't love bacon?
Do you like butter? See, the American butter is better.
You like butter?
Butter is better.
Not too much, though.
Parquet?
Bacon's better.
Canadian bacon, man.
Anthony,
Don't fool around with Canadian bacon.
Anthony, your next poll. What's better, butter or bacon?
Ooh, that's hard.
That's a tough one, right? What is better, butter?
Bacon.
I'd say bacon.
Like you can't eat
if you
butter
had one
by
choice,
itself.
You could.
Yeah, but think about
that's
butter.
nasty.
Think
Come
about
on.
butter and all the things that it's used for. Butter is very useful, Fred. Think
so
about
is bacon.
Think about cookies. You know, you need butter for cookies.
Yeah.
You can use it.
Well, that's a different type of butter.
Cookies, Fred. No.
Okay.
I'm saying. I'm not just saying butter you spread on toast. I'm saying, cooking butter.
You can lather up with butter, but not bacon.
I mean,
lathering up with butter. What are you, Kramer on Seinfeld? What are you talking about?
Starting October 17, you might be doing some other type of butter.
Oh, my God.
Who knows?
Oh, Fred's taking it deep. Fred's going too deep. Let's get out of these waters. Is GSP going to box Floyd Mayweather? Did you see that?
Please no. Please no.
Faraz went on Joe Rogan and said that he wants GSP to box Floyd Mayweather.
What were they smoking?
I don't know.
I want GSP to get the paycheck. Look, if GSP could get a $80 million paycheck like Conor McGregor did last year for doing one boxing fight, go ahead. But I don't want to see it. I mean, I'll have the same opinion I had in the McGregor-Floyd fight, is that the boxer is a boxer. I mean, you can't beat the best boxer without having more experience. I would say Floyd wins that fight easily. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I
think he probably would, but George is like a lot bigger than him, right? That's got to have something.
But does he have like the hand and footwork like Mayweather? No, he doesn't even come close to McGregor. And that, there's no way. I think that's just a joke. I think what would be nice
It's a big money fight for George. I think George...
Can I just interject here? Did you just say that he doesn't have, that McGregor's a better striker than George? I mean,
sure.
George could hold with McGregor. Like, I wouldn't be scared in an MMA fight for George to be fighting McGregor standing up. George is an excellent MMA striker. I'm just saying he's not a boxing specialist, so I don't need to see him in a boxing ring.
But if I have to see a fight, that's the fight I'd want to see. Is McGregor against GSP, not GSP against Mayweather.
But you just said that McGregor would beat him standing up. You just said George didn't have a chance. Huh?
George,
that's what he said.
Yeah, in a boxing match. MMA is a different deal.
He tried to trap me there.
MMA is a different deal. I think we'd all pick GSP in an MMA fight against Conor McGregor, right?
But I mean, even as a pure striker,
you wouldn't
think so? Look, it's that we'd have
Fred?
What do you think?
Of course.
I'm taking George. In a fight against Conor, I don't think Conor has the wrestling or the size to be able to handle GSP.
George is going to take him down.
But I also think
butter.
GSP has the MMA striking to fight with Conor, with no problem. GSP's been there with some very good strikers and never looked bad.
But that's going to be a good money fight for both anyway, so why would you waste your time with the boxing world?
It's not happening. The UFC wants it to be Khabib Nurmagomedov. And I'll tell you why. If Conor loses, they want it to be a guy that they can use going forward. If Conor loses to Khabib, they can go on and market Khabib and use Khabib as a star for them going forward, and they can control Khabib to a certain extent. If Conor loses to George, George can say, I'm retired. That's it. That was the check mark on my career. Bam, bam, we're done. Point final. And he walks away. And then the UFC doesn't have the guy anymore who beat Conor. They don't have the rematch. They don't have anything. And George has already shown that he is willing to walk away whenever he wants. And that is the scariest thing for the UFC. They don't want any part of a guy that they can't control that can just walk away after beating their top money draw. That's why George is not getting the McGregor fight, because the UFC knows that George is too dangerous for McGregor, that he can beat him, and if he does beat him, he can walk away forever and they can never get that back. Whereas with Khabib, if Khabib beats Conor, Khabib will do it again. And Khabib will run it back with Conor. And Khabib will keep fighting for the UFC and continue to make money.
Remember, George also promised to defend that middleweight title, and that never happened. So,
didn't happen.
You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
And you can't blame the UFC.
I like the Homer version.
You can't blame the UFC for taking that approach. Was that a George W. Bush quote there, Fred?
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to quote like the Homer version.
Quoting your man, GWB. Unbelievable.
Gee.
Who at one time was looked at as the worst American president of all time, but now
George W.
There might be somebody in the running for that spot. Should I not go there?
No.
Okay.
Politics is not part of like...
Our boy Headstrong Bacon says he's from Windsor, Ontario.
Oh,
so
Windsor.
He's listening out in Windsor, a.k.a. South Detroit. So.
I would ask if he's listening, is there still the Roadkill Cafe there in Windsor? I went there once. It was awesome. It's actually called the Roadkill Cafe.
Okay. I've never been to Windsor, Ontario.
You haven't?
No.
So you haven't been to Detroit then?
I've not been to Detroit, but I do think I'm going to make a trip to Detroit at some point in the next...
UFC related?
Year. No.
I don't know. I'm just saying on Twitter, I don't want to go politics, but I think I read that you didn't want to go to the States no more.
Yeah, that's true. But my buddy, the big youngster, who's a good friend of mine, we've been friends for like 30 years, he's having a child and he lives out in Detroit. So I might want to go and visit his kid. So I may make an exception and go to the United States to see my buddy's kid. Oh. That's what you do, okay?
Wear that suit of yours. The American flag one.
I do
Don
have.
Cherry.
I don't have that, but I would wear it if I had one. I definitely would.
Abe Simon.
What?
President
Abe.
Abraham Lincoln.
You're the worst, eh? Like, your references make no sense. Hey, Anthony, pop
Fred
quiz.
got it. Fred got it.
Anthony, I'm going to quiz you on pop culture, okay?
Oh, God, not again.
It's already hard enough. What's the name of the rapper? What's the name of the rapper that was gunned down this week?
Wait a sec.
Wait.
Got it. I got it.
No, but I got a good comment.
let me get it.
Okay,
wait, let's see.
First of all,
Fred, do you know?
Yes,
okay.
And I just want to say he's a scum piece of whatever that beat up on his girlfriend.
Rest in peace to the man.
Yeah, rest in hell.
Rest.
Go to hell.
Okay.
I mean, you...
Anthony, do you know his name?
His girlfriend lost an eye.
You can't.
Okay, first of all, this whole...
The man's dead.
This whole...
Rest in hell.
I don't think Fred likes this guy for some reason. But...
Well, he's scum.
Is he? All right.
Is he?
So now
he beat up on his girlfriend and she lost an eye.
An eye?
Yeah, like she's blind from an eye.
Allegedly.
Like an old story.
What is this?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
But he changed his life, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Allegedly,
I don't accept
Fred.
it for Greg Hardy. I don't accept it for that scum.
Well, Greg Hardy's not fighting.
Rest in hell.
He hurt his knee, I think, last week in flag football or something like that.
So, Anthony, you don't know the guy?
No, wait. Let me get this. Rihanna. First of all, I just want you to know this Rihanna thing.
Don't mix Rihanna up in this.
But wait. Everywhere I go, people are bothering me about I can't believe you don't know Rihanna.
Because you didn't know who Rihanna was.
I can't believe people. We talked about this a month ago, and people are still bothering me. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's not incredible.
I'm just waiting for a call one day to come from Las Vegas. What the heck is this? Rihanna. It's like, how can you not know me, Mr. AJ? Who do you think you are? Better than Rihanna? You know? So
you think Rihanna's going to call you and say, what are you doing, Mr. AJ? Who do you think you are, better than Rihanna?
So wait, let me get this. I got it.
What is the matter with you?
So the guy that got shot, is he shot or stabbed? What did he get?
He's dead. He's in hell.
Triple X Tentacion.
I got it.
Extentation.
I got it.
Triple X Tentacion, okay?
There was a rapper called...
Listen, he's a very talented artist. I was a fan of his music. I wasn't a fan of a lot of the stuff he was doing outside of music. Did he show up at the UFC? Did he show up like ringside? I don't think so.
See, that's the problem. If they would show that kind of rapper, I would know him. So
instead of beating up on his girlfriend, he joined a gym and,
like I saw 50 Cent. I recognize
who
50 Cent is because he's at the fights.
Rihanna has been to several UFC events in the past, right? Like, they've shown Rihanna ringside at many UFC shows. And the fact that you never took notice of that and you were never aware of Rihanna up until like a month and a half ago is still baffling to me and baffling to the Ringside Report universe. And that's why people keep coming up to you and saying, "What's the matter with you, Anthony?"
And they think I'm joking, but I'm like...
No, he's not joking. He legitimately doesn't know who Rihanna is. Well, he didn't.
No, now I know her very well. I can like probably do a thesis on like Rihanna if I have to. But where I'm getting at is...
I don't think you could.
No, probably not.
You really don't know Rihanna that well.
No,
still.
I do. People are telling me their music. They're sending me her music all the time, and I'm like, this can't make it as a walkout song, so why are you sending it to me?
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Anthony.
What?
I got a suggestion today on my YouTube show with Johnny North, which you can watch at youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Okay? My son actually made a cameo on the show, so if you want to see the man, you could check him out on YouTube. He was there very briefly. But we got a comment from Antoinette out in Toronto who said that we should replace you with Wally out in Ireland and just get rid of you entirely and get Wally instead.
I thought Antoinette was on my side. What happened
Yeah,
there?
but I don't know. I think she's turning on you, and I think the whole
Is it because of the Rihanna thing?
I think the Ringside Report universe is starting to turn on you, and they just want you replaced, Anthony.
Wow,
so
that's it.
I'm just putting it out there that
Wally does have a better accent than I do. That's for sure.
Your accent is pretty good, but Wally's Irish accent is pretty
awesome.
nice.
He sounds like Bono or something. It's awesome. I love Wally, but
you say Bono?
Bono.
Isn't it Bono?
I was going to say something else with an R, but I'll keep it at Bono.
You're just great. All right, show's over.
So
I'm ending this thing.
Let me get back to the shooting of the guy who I thought it was.
What shooting? What are you trying to do?
rapper.
No, I don't want to do that anymore.
No, come on. No, I'm telling you.
Nah,
I
we're
know
done.
who it is. I know who it is. It's
Fred.
Tupac.
You're the worst. You're the worst guy ever, Anthony.
At least I got Tupac.
I like it. I like it. You're a nice guy, but you're also the worst guy ever. I want to say congratulations to Nate Diaz and his girlfriend Misty welcoming a baby girl last week. Yeah, clap it up for Nate. Stockton, what? Stockton. Yeah. So real happy for Nate having a child. You know, Fred knows what it's like having a baby girl. He's got a baby girl at home. I got a baby boy, and Anthony.
I have a fish that died about 3 weeks ago, but other than that, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, that's the thing. Man, I wish we could get into that, Anthony. There's a lot of controversy on Twitter about you. There's a lot of controversy off the air around Anthony, but we can't get to it because Anthony just refuses, so we won't get into it. Maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll get into it a little bit more. Follow Anthony on Twitter at Danny Bruck. Follow Muscles Marco at Marco Muscles. Follow Fred at Freddy MMA. And you can follow me at Dave Simon MMA. I'm at Dave Simon MMA on Twitter. I'm at Dave Simon MMA on Snapchat. And probably on Instagram very soon at Dave Simon MMA. So get ready for that. RingsideReport.net. I'll be back here tomorrow night, midnight, with Johnny North for Wrestling Uncensored. Hope the Habs drafted somebody good, and they keep drafting good guys and making the trades that you want them to make. I know people are really excited about the hockey draft, so I hope everything goes well. I hope the man, Big Mark Bergevin, takes care of the business. I know we were taking calls on that last week, and I just wanted to wrap it up by saying, I hope for the best for you guys. Hope everything's good. I know Anthony's really excited about it, so. Are you okay, Anthony, with the draft? You were all excited.
No, I'm happy with it. I mean, like,
they
it's
drafted
a good draft.
a Finnish guy, right?
Yeah, he has like 56 games he played, 10 goals, 29 points in
you
total.
See the stats he's bringing out here? He actually knows his stuff, Fred. It's unbelievable. Fred's looking at me like, why are we talking about this? Because AJ's excited, okay? And we got to let AJ get his little thing
Plus,
in.
I'm wearing the Knuckles brand shirt, too.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Come on, Chris Nyland.
Listen, you are the natural explosion, Anthony D'Alessio. He is Fred Garcia. I am Dave Simon. And this has been Ringside Report Radio.